Good afternoon. This is the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners. I'm Commissioner Bud Blake. I'm the chair of the board this year. I'd like to start off by introducing those on the panel. This is Commissioner Gary Edwards, Commissioner John Hutchings, clerk of the board, Labanita Bomar, and to her right is the county manager, Ramiro Chavez. And with that in mind, I'll ask Commissioner Gary to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. So the next item we have on the list is the approval for today's agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the agenda for Tuesday, August 1, 2017.
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve the agenda for August 1st, 2017. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and that motion carries. The board meeting minutes for 25 July 2017.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the board meeting minutes from July 25, 2017.
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve the board meeting minutes for July 25th, 2017. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and that motion carries as well. So today we start off with a presentation, and it's absolutely perfect timing for the year. What we have is county fair. I'd like to bring Josh Cummings forward, and he's going to introduce some of his participants in the fair. Hi, Josh.
Thank you, Commissioners. Just wanted to introduce our fair mascot. The fair is upon us. It starts tomorrow, Wednesday, August 2nd, runs through Sunday, August 6th. This year's mascot is Rudy the Rabbit. And you're going to have a hair-raising good time at the Thurston County Fair. Before we bring up Rudy, I just wanted to say thanks to our sponsors in the community also. We appreciate the support from Puget Sound Energy, from Les Schwab, from the Chehalis, and the Nisqually, and Mix 96. So without further ado, I'd just like to say, here comes Rudy Rabbit.
Yeah.
Here it comes.
Don't go too far because we have questions for you. Hi, Rudy.
Hi, how are you?
The rabbit.
So, if I say anything harebrained, you'll just have to excuse me. So, we wanted to tell you that the Fair Board is working very hard to make sure that this is going to be a safe fair in consideration of the heat that we're planning to have, or the nation is planning to have. It's supposed to be 106 on Thursday. We have sprinklers that we're hooking up on top of the roofs of the barns. We've got extra misters out. We've got tents that we're putting up where we didn't used to have tents before. We're emphasizing to the leaders and superintendents that, safety of the animals and the kids and the public is our main concern. And so the FFA kids who always are required to wear their jackets no matter what, they're not wearing their jackets this year. So we wanted to tell you that. And we hope the medics are also going to be there from 10 to 10 every day, except Sunday when we close early. So we should be covered as well as one can be. So we also have our agricultural display this year is about bees. We have quite an active bee community. I don't mean little bees, but the people that raise the bees. And so they put together an agricultural exhibit. Every fair is required to have such a thing, and the State Fair Commissioner will be judging us this year. They do it every other year, so we're hoping they are impressed with our bee exhibit. We have some new local food vendors that we haven't had before. We're trying to emphasize bringing in locals as much as we can, so we have several new local food vendors coming on board. We have our usual live and local concert series going. I can tell you if you want to know who they all are, but you can, of course, just come out and you can find out who they are. One of the deck building has been changed into a sort of an agricultural, or not, educational building. STEM is going to have some displays in there. The county auditor's office is going to be in there where the kids can vote for the mascot for year after next. Next year they've already elected Freddie Frog, so next year we'll have a totally fun fair. But the candidates that the kids will be voting on this year include Doug Fur, Marty Mushroom, Henrietta Hen, and Gary Gooey Duck. So the kids will be using regular voting machines and voting for their favorite. Billy Frank's Wildlife Refuge is also bringing out an exhibit that'll be in that same building with all those other educational sort of displays. All the animal barns are filling. They started coming in at about 7:30 this morning, and they're filling the barns. Cows seem to be all settled down nicely. Pigs are still coming in, so we're getting ready to roll. So you have any questions?
Yeah, fantastic. You got a question, don't you?
I do. What about the farm sale coming up for
The
young
market
people
animal
selling
sale?
the market animals?
The market animal sale is still is scheduled for 6 o'clock on Saturday night. It'll be down in the Hicks Lake Barn, and come out and buy an animal. Anything from rabbits to steers is going to be on the auction block. So we hope you all come out and fill your meat lockers.
Oh, yes.
What you got?
I just want to reiterate, there are cooling stations out there,
Yes,
and
misters.
and first aid will be on board for families
Absolutely.
and kids and elderly and such. And you said the bee exhibit is mandatory?
No, an agricultural exhibit is mandatory
Okay.
every year. And this year, our agricultural exhibit is about bees.
I think that is pretty cool, because I'm learning a lot more about bees as we move along. And
They-
you'll be,
the-
you,
The bee group brought in, over the last couple of days, about 3 or 4 different kind of beehives. There's no bees in them, I might add, but,
Okay.
so they have a lot of information about bees. And
and you will be hanging out in the KV barn?
me, no, I will be roaming the grounds doing various and sundry things, mostly not in this costume.
Oh, I bet. And people at home, if you don't know what KV is, look it up. And I just want to add a plug that this Saturday from 7 until about 10 or 10:30-ish is the pancake breakfast, where these, my seatmates and I, and Romero, yes, and department directors and other electeds will be out there flipping pancakes. And I will be out there with the world's largest spatula, like Uncle Buck-style spatula, to flip these things. And then after the breakfast, I'll be working the Lions Club booth with corn and stuff.
Hamburgers and things, yes.
Yes.
Well,
So
we
it-
always appreciate the pancake breakfast. It's always a lot of fun for everybody that's out there early, so we
Great. Well, I'm
appreciate.
bringing my special seafood syrup, seafood-flavored pancake
I
syrup.
see.
It'll be special
Shrimp,
this year.
crab, perhaps?
Yeah, crab or scallop. Scallop, yes.
Okay,
But thank you.
The price is right for that breakfast, I think. too,
that's
isn't it?
right. Yes, it's, once you get on the grounds, it's free.
It is free,
Yeah.
so bring your families. That's all, sir.
Okey-doke. I have a couple of questions for Josh also, in terms of, talk to us about last year and the year before in terms of attendance and some of the things that were highlighted for this year and some of the attractions that you might be able to. I'm just trying to get a general idea of how many people we expect to see and some of the events.
Well, so one of the things that we do talk about with this community event is kind of in a colloquial term, it's kind of a Goldilocks event. It can't be too hot, it can't be too cold, it can't be too rainy, it can't be too windy. But when we do have all those things come together with the perfect conditions, we target around having 30,000 attendees on average over the 5 days of fair, which is a great group from the community. The last time we had a big heat event like this was 2015, and before that was 2009. This one, the forecast is looking to potentially beat those two events in terms of the heat index. When we did have those previous two events, we took a dive of about 5 to 10,000 in attendees. So if we hit around 25,000, 20 to 25,000 attendees, that will be a success for this year's fair if the heat forecast holds up like they say it's going to. 100 and so, or those kinds of things can make people weary. But like has been discussed, we've got lots of great cooling opportunities. Capital Heating and Cooling at their booth actually is going to be setting up a cooling station. So they're going to have a big pump and air conditioning coming right at you. So come out and enjoy it. In terms of attractions, the Rudy hit on it really great. We've got the beekeepers have done an amazing job with the pollinator garden out there. It's beautiful, right next to the pole barn where the market sale happens. So you can see a beautiful garden and how to keep the bee population. That's, one of the fundamentals of agriculture. If we don't have bees pollinating the plants, we don't have vegetables for the animals to eat. So focusing on that building block for agriculture at the showcase fair event is really important.
Okay, great. And if someone wanted to get involved in the fair, like the Fair Foundation, and volunteer, how do they go about doing that? And as far as calling in, or a link, or some
Yeah.
sort of site? Mhm.
Check in with the fair office. The telephone number is 360-786-5453, or you can go on the website at www.thurstoncountyfair.org. In terms of volunteering on the board, go to the main Thurston County website, and there's a link there for volunteering on boards and commissions. And Thurston County Fair is always looking for new members.
Yeah, fantastic. You have a question? Yeah.
We're gonna get a photo with Ann and
Yeah, good
Right.
idea.
Come on up there, Rudy.
And I really appreciate the work you're doing on that, Josh, very much.
Photo time.
get in the middle there. We're getting
Right here, right here, right there. Here we go. That's true.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for all your hard work, Ann.
I'm all wet right now.
Thank you, commissioners, for the support. We appreciate it.
Yeah, see you guys.
That's terrible. Okay. Okay. So the next item we have on the agenda for today is the opportunity for the public to address the board. And currently, I have 3 people. And so the way we do it here is we have the clock here on, to my left, your right, on the side of the wall here. We no longer do the stoplight thing where we do the countdown that way. And just for the audience sake, if there's someone in the audience that I missed your name, or you changed your mind and you want to come to the podium after, call the names on the list here, feel free to raise your hand. I'll call you forward. With that in mind, I'll start with Esther Cronenberg. Hi, Esther. It's good to see you again.
I'm here to speak about your decision last week not to finalize the Habitat Conservation Plan as presented by your staff. Having followed this issue over the past several months and listened to all the conflicting interests and strongly held opinions about it by all the residents of the county, I totally sympathize with the difficult and thankless position you have gotten yourselves into as commissioners. There's no way any decision on a final version will make anybody happy, which ironically is the best indication you've found a solution that's fair and balanced for everybody. The environmental groups and historical preservationists will be unhappy about using conservation futures money because other worthy projects that add to the quality of life here will be unfinanced and abandoned. Developers are going to be unhappy because they'll have to pay mitigation fees. 1% of the county's single-family landowners seeking permits will be unhappy because they'll have to pay extra to use their land. And most everybody else won't be happy about paying more taxes. And there's plenty of people to blame for the problem. We can blame the developers for their narrow pursuit of profit over the common good. We can blame the environmentalists for a zealous interference with individual property rights. We can blame the federal government for overregulation. We can blame scientists and public servants for skewing data to get a desired result. And we can blame property rights advocates for a mistaken idea of freedom that asserts every right as absolute and every regulation as inimical to freedom. But looking at the flip side, how would each group benefit from a final HCP? Environmentalists will get the preservation of a unique and beautiful ecosystem for future generations. Developers and home builders will get a hassle-free, predictable, and streamlined process to build and use their land. And all of us who have contributed to this present situation we're in through years and years of building more and more houses, encroaching on the land till there was only 5% left of what was once a great expanse of prairie, get to live in a place that values the common good over the rights of property, a place that reflects the far-sighted American ideals we share of liberty and justice, where people are willing to compromise a little for the benefit of all. E pluribus unum, out of many, one. One community sharing one sacred and beautiful area of God's good earth, entrusted to us as wise stewards of the land for the common good. We need each other. We need all the views, all the interests, all the criticisms, all the ideas, everyone's, to balance each other out and come up with a fair and balanced approach that demands a little sacrifice from everyone. The final HCP plan presented was that perfectly imperfect plan.
Go ahead and finish your thought.
Other counties have done it using the same sources of funding proposed here. It's taken hours, days, years of time to figure this out, the work of dozens of well-intentioned people whose interests are directly affected and who are willing to make that sacrifice for the greater good and the greatest benefit. This is a plan with widespread support in Thurston County. We are willing to pay a little more. I trust you'll find the courage and humility to come together, move forward, and get this done, especially so we don't have to talk about gophers anymore.
That's right.
Okay.
Thank you. Esther, I've never done this, but I would like to get a copy of that, and if you don't
know
mind.
what? I was gonna say,
I
the
was
same exact thing. That was well thought out.
And
I gotta
Robin
beat you
Eater
to it
does
on
the
this
same
one.
thing. Yes, thank you. Thank you, thank you.
That's very, very good, Esther. That's
Very well
spot
done.
on. Mhm. Good. Good job. Okay, I better move on. Okay, next person I have here is Kelsey Holt. Hello, Kelsey. How you doing? I'm doing well. Okay. Come on up here. The mic is yours. You got the floor.
Hello, thank you so much.
And just kind of tell us where you are from the county. I forgot to mention that. So,
Yeah,
in general.
absolutely. So I'm actually here to introduce myself. I know most of you, but I'm Kelsey Holt and was recently named Puget Sound Energy's Government Affairs Liaison.
Yay, great.
So I will be working with all of you, hopefully, going forward as we build interesting and innovative projects in our community and continue to support our ratepayers and our community members in a way that makes both fiscal and environmental sense. And so I'm just really happy to be here. I think I'm on a couple of your calendars, but I'd love to sit down and chat in the near future. If I can provide any information, answer any questions, dig up any info for you, I hope you won't hesitate to reach out. I'll leave my contact information with you, but just wanted to stop by and say hello, and then I'm excited to work with you guys in the future.
Sure. And can you just kind of re-say the title and a little bit more what your mission
Absolutely.
is? Yeah.
Pass those around.
And for the record, my office lights are off right now.
Well done, well done. I'll tabulate those points.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
So my title is Senior Local Government Affairs Representative.
Okay, I like that, local.
So, yep, so I will be working exclusively with Thurston, Kitsap, and Lewis counties, but of course, this is my home, and so I'm very excited to work with you guys in the future. So we'll talk about, as I said, interesting and innovative utility projects that
Yeah,
come
yeah.
up. I will unfortunately, be in communication with you as we get into storm season and all the fun that entails. Just keeping in communication about anything that might affect the folks in our community and their energy and natural gas needs.
Great. Any questions of Kelsey?
Thank you. Are you gonna be around a little bit? Are you going right out the door, or?
No, I can hang out.
All right.
Yeah, and we've got a meeting scheduled as well, I think,
Oh,
next
you're on
week.
the calendar already.
Oh,
so-
okay, okay.
Thanks.
Oh, you bet. Thank you. Good to see you again. I have one more person here if they might have changed their mind. If not, anybody in the crowd would like to come forward and speak at the mic for addressing the board. Going once, twice? Nope, okay. That concludes that portion of the agenda. So with that in mind, I'll switch to item number 2, which is the county manager's update. And I'll ask Ramiro Chavez to give us an update.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Yes, I have a couple of updates for you. And again, I want to reiterate, the National Weather Service has issued an excessive heat warning for the Puget Sound region, which starts at today, Tuesday, August 1st at 2 in the afternoon, and goes through Friday, August 4th at 3 in the morning. Temperatures in Thurston County and the surrounding areas are expected to exceed 100 degrees during this period. Cooling center information is available on the emergency management website, which is www.co.thurston.wa.us/EM. In that website, you also have some hot water tips as to how you can take care of your family members, check in with friends, and also some information related to pet safety as well. Along the same lines, you heard the Thurston County Fair is going on this week. And also there is enough shade, air conditioning, shaved ice, cold cider, and many cool drinks that perhaps may help you deal with the heat, so we'll encourage you all to come. But also, county staff and the ferry staff has already been setting up additional shading areas, misters, and additional fans throughout the site, so it can help the citizens having a pleasant visit to the Thurston County Fair. On the same issue, but on the other front, the Public Works Department, in preparation to the high temperatures, they want to protect the chip seal operations they just did in some of the intersections. As you can imagine, with high temperatures, the oil melts. So in order to protect that investment, they're going to be strategically applying a light coat of sand on those intersections with braking and acceleration occurs, so we can protect that investment. So you will see that go on as well. And that is related to the weather conditions. Also, I'd like to follow up on a comment that you received last week, and this is from Mr. Doug Karma. He's the president of the Long Lake Management District Association. He provided you with a letter, not necessarily related to the Long Lake, but he was requesting to participate, at least the Long Lake Management District representative, on the shoreline management plan. I'd like to follow up that, in fact, Brad Murphy, who is our planner leading that effort, has already scheduled meetings with the Long Lake Management District to see who will be the best representative to be part of this process. Also, staff will be reassembling what they call the Shoreline Technical Assistance Group, which has an acronym, of course, is the STAG, which will have a variety of members from different agencies and interested groups, including members of the public, will be asked to participate. So the Long Lake representative will be part of this group as we move along. The STAG meetings will be scheduled throughout the process, and will allow you, all the public and all the interested party, to provide comments along the way, and all the draft documents that will be prepared as a result of the shoreline management program. Also, there will be scheduling many open houses, as well as public meetings, and also as part of the Planning Commission and Board of County Commissioners, the public will have plenty of opportunity to provide comments before an ultimate language will be approved by you. And that's what I have for you today.
Any questions of Romero? How about you, John, any questions?
No questions, just a comment. I heard this, I believe yesterday, that throughout the entire county, there are about 32 cooling centers that are open. So I would encourage people, if you have young or elderly or otherwise compromised folks, check with your local jurisdictions, but also check the county website for a cooling station if it becomes unbearable. There are heaps of them around the entire county. And I have a question that's regarding the chip seal sanding. The Public Works, is that going to be in the areas that they just did within the last couple of days, or the last month, or the last week?
I believe when they recently applied, they will include the whole chip seal program that was done in the last month or so.
So like entire all 99 all the way down to Tenino and such?
Only at intersections where the braking.
Just the intersections? Okay.
A braking acceleration happens, so that's where the asphalt tends to be loose. So
Got it.
they
Thank you,
will
sir.
protect that.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Maybe I could do a spin-off on what John was talking about on safety for this heat situation that the county manager brought up. A real simple fix for those folks maybe that are more vulnerable, or your senior population possibly where they're home, don't have air conditioning, but yet are going to be exposed to this type of heat. This is a very simple solution to being too warm, and I picked it up in the Army about 50 years ago now, I hate to have to mention, but you just take a bucket of cold water. Doesn't have to be cold water, just tap water that's out of your tap, and put your foot in that bucket and sit there for a few minutes. I'm not kidding you. You'll think you're in the Holiday Hilton with the most. It makes it so comfortable, and well, it's the hillbilly Holiday Hilton. That's right. But it really, really works. I can't emphasize what such a simple solution it is to somebody being overheated, is just put their foot in a bucket of cold water,
Get you a
throw a
lemonade.
couple ice cubes in
Yeah.
there, then you're going to be cold. You're going to have to put your jacket on. So for those people that might not have air conditioning and are going to be a little uncomfortable and don't feel they can go out to one of the comfort stations, if you will, I just think that if you just think about that, put your foot in a bucket of cold tap water.
Oh, my God. Commissioner, give it advice.
Yeah, what the heck? You
Get
live
that
long
from,
enough, you learn all those things.
Get from our health doctor.
Okay. Okay, so the next item we have is the consent items, I do believe. Yep. Anything else, Romero?
Nope.
Okay, consent items. And is there a motion for the consent item?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move to approve items, consent items number, or letters A through F, Alpha through Foxtrot.
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve the consent items A through F. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and the motion carries. So the next item we have on the agenda is number 4, which is the departmental items and resource stewardship. And this is Christina Chapeau, also Chris Chapeau, the acceptance of McLean Conservation Easement. How you doing, Chris?
I'm well. Afternoon, Commissioners. For the record, Christina Chapeau, with Associate Planner with Long Range Planning, Resource Stewardship Department. I am here today to ask for the acceptance of the McLean Conservation Easement. Just a little bit of background. This is a single-family property owner who completed a site visit in 2016 where presence of Mazamapaca gopher were found on the piece of property. Half acre of the property has been proposed for impacts related to a building site. The proponent, the McLeans, have worked with U.S. Fish and Wildlife to develop a habitat conservation plan and obtain an incidental take permit. As part of that habitat conservation plan, the mitigation for this particular impact is to preserve 1 acre on site. That's 1 acre out of the 8.22 acres on the entire parcel. On April 25th of this year, the board did approve a policy to provide guidance to the county's discretionary acceptance of a conservation easement. The McLean's conservation easement and project conforms to those guidelines within that policy. The conservation easement will protect and prevent any use that will impair or interfere with the environmental values of the property. The conservation area included within the conservation easement are to be maintained pursuant to the requirements of the conservation easement. And Thurston County, upon receipt of an appropriate application and fee, will go out and do an annual inspection of that particular conservation area. So in conclusion, I am requesting that the board accept the McLean Conservation Easement over 1 acre of land at 9925 Noonan Road Southwest in Olympia, Washington.
Yep, great. Any questions or comments?
No.
I guess I will have to make one other comment about this because it's a gopher issue, and Esther was hoping we wouldn't be talking about gopher issues anymore, but the regular folks that are living their lives and not exposed to this don't really understand the heartache that comes about when you're delayed in a situation like building a new home that the McLeans asked to do. They've been in this for over a year, just in the process, haven't broke ground yet. Both her mother and her mother-in-law both died during this process. The intent was to build that home so that they could move in with them. So I just would encourage the board to take this action because there are consequences to government overreach, and I think this is a great example of that. I'm not saying this is the best solution to come up with. I know the application is still sitting on the Secretary of Interior's desk in Washington, D.C., hopefully to be signed pretty quick, and the McLeans can move on with their situation. But again, I would reiterate that if time or money don't matter to you, this gopher is not an issue. So I'll just let it go at that. I'm glad we're able to take an action on this.
And I'm very happy to provide the McLean's some relief after all this time and grief that they've experienced.
Yeah, I'd like to second that, and they're not the only ones. I've had many of them in my office, and trying to work through this, and where they've lost money and time and other pertinent things to their life, but we're working on it. And so, one full question for you. Can you just kind of reiterate what the county's responsibility is to this whole process? Just kind of restate that.
Sure. So with holding the conservation easement, our responsibility will be to monitor the easement. This is 1 acre at the 9925 Noonan Road. We will do an site inspection once a year to make sure that no buildings have been built on it within this 1 acre of conservation, that the maintenance that he is currently required to do under the conservation easement and his incidental take permit are being completed. It should take, because it's a small area in a single-family home, it shouldn't take that long.
But that, for the county, is not maintenance, it's not enforcement, it's not oversight, just monitoring.
That is correct. Enforcement will happen by U.S. Fish and Wildlife.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move to accept the McLean Conservation Easement of 1 acre out of the 8.22 acre parcel located at 9925 Nunn Road, Southwest, Olympia, Washington, 98512.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and that motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christine. So next we have Public Health and Social Services. Now, this is item number 5 on the list, and we have Jennifer Popcom-Chakim. Is that close enough?
You're getting there.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Popchak Hakim.
Say it for us.
Good afternoon. Jennifer Popchak Hakim.
Okay.
Popchak Hakim.
So I'm requesting that you move to approve the Thurston Mason County Developmental Disabilities Professional Services Agreement with Total Living Concept for up to $50,000 to provide disability awareness and skill training services for the period of August 1st, 2017 through June 30th, 2018. And move to authorize the Director of Public Health and Social Services to sign the agreement and to sign future amendments that do not change the approved dollar amount or duration by more than 25%. This Thurston Mason County Developmental Disabilities Professional Service Agreement is for the period of August 1st, 2017 through June 30th, 2018. The county's existing professional services agreement with DDA, July 1st, 2017 through June 30th, 2018, contains sufficient funding for the $50,000 training and technical assistance brokerage contract with Total Living Concept. The Developmental Disabilities Program uses these funds to provide skill development and training to direct service staff and information and education regarding developmental disabilities to the community. Training and technical assistance services benefit individuals and agencies by offering access to varied specialists to assist in identifying challenges and barriers and working through a team approach to address them. And this is in regards to community access and employment services for individuals with developmental disabilities. The Community Information and Education provides the county with funds to deliver information, hold events, bring on guest speakers for families, school personnel, service providers, stakeholders, and community members. These services combine with our supported employment and community access to support people with developmental disabilities in our community.
Any criticisms of Jennifer?
No, I would say that Jennifer was up here with some of the participants involved here, a couple weeks ago maybe, and I would just like to compliment her on her efforts and her commitment and compassion to working with this community. Thank you.
Thank you.
And a week ago, I did a tour with Morningside and met one of their differently disabled folks that actually is working for the state now.
Correct.
Through an apprenticeship program. And I fully support this. And when I hear in the news that our DD folks are getting less than minimum wage.
So-
That was very disheartening.
Some are, but in Thurston County, we don't have anyone currently working at less than minimum wage.
Can you say that again, please, for me?
In Thurston, Mason County, we currently do not have anyone working at less than minimum wage in our
Beautiful.
program.
And I would do everything I can to support state legislation that might change that around the state or across the state as
Definitely,
well.
definitely.
Doggone it. So thank you very much, Jennifer.
Sure, thank you.
And again, thank you for what you do. It's very, very, very kind of you. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the Thurston Mason County's Developmental Disabilities Professional Services Agreement with Total Living Concept for up to $50,000 to provide disability awareness and skill training services for the period of August 1, 2017 through June 30, 2018, and move to authorize the Director of Public Health and Social Services to sign the agreement and to sign future amendments that do not change the approved dollar amount or duration by more than 25%.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and your motion carries. Thank you, Jennifer. Next, we have Public Works. This resolution call for sealed bids for the Athens Beach Road Northwest Storm Drain Repair. I think we have Mr. Steve Johnson. How you doing, sir?
Doing well, thank you. Again, I am Steve Johnson. I'm a senior civil engineer with Thurston County Public Works. We are requesting permission to advertise the plans and specifications for the Athens Beach Road Northwest Storm Drain Repair. This is a maintenance project that will repair a storm drain pipe that conveys runoff that is collected along Athens Beach Road Northwest and delivers that runoff down a steep slope to the beach. A portion of this pipe runs beneath a garage and another portion runs beneath a residence, making this repair technically very challenging. The repair work will utilize cure-in-place pipe, or CIPP, to install a pipe liner that will keep this runoff from leaking out of the broken portions of the existing pipe. It's separated at a couple of catch basins. CIPP uses a fabric-type liner material similar to felt that's impregnated with plastics. Slide that through the existing pipe, inflate it, and then steam it to cure that material to a rigid pipe material, which will seal the gaps. The estimated total construction cost is approximately $80,000, which will be paid using county road funds. The project is in the 2017-18 budget. The contract will be advertised in the Olympian and the Seattle Daily Journal of Commerce newspapers, as well as posted on the Builders Exchange website for plans hosting. This project is consistent with the county's strategic plan, meeting the external goals of public safety and judicial services and environmental sustainable resources. Do you have any questions?
Any question of Mr. Johnson?
When that water, when you finally get the pipe fixed and it runs off, do you then put it through some type of a filter process to try to clean the water a little bit before it gets into the salt?
In this case, no. There's a ditch line that's along Athens Beach Road, and it's a very low volume road. There's not a lot of traffic. There will be some pollutants that are still in there, but the purpose of this project is specifically to repair the pipe.
Okay, thanks.
And this is just storm drainage?
Correct.
It's not for fish spawning?
Correct.
Just
It's a
drain-
12-inch
just
pipe.
drainage, get it out, okay.
Correct.
Thank you.
All right, is there a motion?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I move to approve the resolution calling for sealed bids and authorizing the county engineer to set the bid date and time for receipt and opening of said bids for the construction of the Athens Beach Road Northwest Storm Drain Repair, CRP number 48293.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and the motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have the number 7, which is the Commissioners and County Managers items, and we have County Manager Ramiro Chavez going to tell us about the citizens' priorities and strategic plan.
Let me give you a little bit of a background on this proposed request for proposals. As the next county budget is developed, Thurston County Commissioners are interested in aligning the budget with citizens' priorities and with the strategic goals as much as practical. So on June 13, 2017, you authorized a request for proposals for a consultant who will conduct a statistically valid survey of county citizens to assess what their priorities are and get their input on who to allocate scarce resources and also work with county offices and departments to update the county strategic plan, including developing goals, strategic objectives, and performance indicators. 7 proposals were received by the county, and the review team was consist of a county commissioner, the county treasurer, the county manager, the assistant county manager, the human resources director, and the commissioner's senior management analyst, who scored all those proposals. As a result of that initial scoring, there were 2 firms that were invited for an interview that occurred last week. After the interviews, the review team selected the Athena group to conduct the project. So the proposal before you is to authorize the county manager to negotiate and sign the contract with the Athena group.
Any questions of Romero?
No.
No questions, but just a comment about how thorough the selection process was. Very in-depth and thorough. But so thank you.
Okay. Is there a motion for this?
Mr. Chair, I move to authorize the county manager to negotiate and sign a contract with the Athena Group to conduct a survey of citizen priorities for Thurston County government and to assist the county in the update of the Thurston County strategic plan.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and the motion carries. So the next item we have is 7B, which is where county commissioners can talk about or report back to any of the work sessions or committees or anything they've seen in the county and just kind of tell us what they've been doing. Anything you want to say now or hold off or what?
I guess talking about environment, the Nisqually River Council was a meeting that I attended last week that was very interesting, talking about salmon recovery and trying to come up with their strategic plan on what's to come in the future, as well as promoting what they've got done in the past. So good meeting, and always, to me, interesting to talk about clean water and salmon.
Commissioner Hutchings? Anything?
Yes, just to reiterate, I sat on the consultant interviews for the strategic plan priorities of county government and was, like I said, extremely impressed how comprehensive that process was. And last Friday, I attended a Pack Mountain Consortium meeting with our workforce group, talking about workforce and all the work they're doing with Combat to Commerce, our Veterans to Commerce program, getting our veterans back to work as well as our developmentally disabled folks. And yesterday was our CIP, Community Investment Partnership meeting, where we talked about policy issues and emergency funding disbursement. And just got back about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago from the Cascadia Subduction Zone Chinook helicopter tour. What that means is it was a tour. It was a takeoff in a helicopter from JBLM all the way to Westport. We landed on the USS Anchorage, and the captain of the boat, Captain Dennis Jacko, was exceptionally gracious as a host. Took a tour, and there was a static tour on ship, but also at Westport on all the resources that are available for the Cascadia Subduction Zone, which we would call an earthquake and or tsunami, and the emergency resources that we would need that they can bring to bear, which is absolutely off the chart impressive. And then a helicopter ride back. It was very fun, but exceptionally informative, and there was people from all over the state involved in this, several different groups that were involved, and that was a big eye-opener. And that is it.
Well, I'm super jealous you got on another bird. That's cool.
That was way, way cool. It really was.
All righty, I'm going to pass and then see if we go to the next item, which is the county manager's portion of the...
Thank you, Commissioners, again. Let me walk you through your combined calendar for the remainder of the week. And again, those appointments reflect only where at least 2 commissioners will be in attendance. You may have individual appointments on your respective calendars. Starting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you have a public hearing where you consider public testimony on amending the Thurston County Code, Section 2.02050. And that is related to fees associated with the release of public records. Also, for in the afternoon today, you will have an opportunity to send good wishes to Linda Loyal, is a long-term employee of the public health, and that is at 4 o'clock, and it's going to be located in the Public Health Social Services building across the St. Peter's Hospital. Tomorrow, Wednesday, August the 2nd, 9 in the afternoon, you have a 120-day overview of the Permitting Assistance Center extended hours. As you may recall, your decision was to open the center more hours than it was used to in the past. So tomorrow, staff will give you an opportunity to give you some feedback as to how that is working out. At 9:30 tomorrow, you will have a briefing on the Henderson Inlet Septic System Management Program. That's a follow-up from previous briefings. At 11:15, you will have the opportunity to welcome new employees to the Thurston County family. At noon, you will have from 12 to 1:30, you will have the Rochester Grand Mountain Chambers of Commerce meeting. That's a lunch meeting located in Rochester. At 2 in the afternoon, you will have a briefing from ORCA, where they explain all their business to you and give you some glimpses of what they do. At 5:45 in the afternoon, that will be at 6 o'clock, you will be participating in a welcoming ceremony opening the Thurston County Fair to the public. On Thursday, August the 3rd, from 8 o'clock to 5 in the afternoon, you have a long planning session. I will develop the agenda for that session tonight. I will be sending you copies of that as soon as probably tonight. On Saturday, August 5th, as Commissioner Hutchins stated, there is a pancake annual breakfast. And this is the opportunity for you as a commissioners and some of the appointed directors and myself and elected officials will give us the opportunity to say thank you to the community by serving pancakes. And this is free to the public. It is not just for fair staff. It's to whoever wants to participate. We would like to invite you and come over and enjoy a pancake with some good syrup and good company.
What kind of syrup?
And you have nothing on Monday, August the 7th, and that will take you to the next board meeting, which is August 8th.
May I add something, sir?
Yeah, seafood syrup, right?
No, this is regarding Linda Loyals. We're going to be saying farewell to her as she retires after 39 years with the county. That's incredible.
Yeah,
Almost 4 decades.
long career.
Yeah,
Long career.
39 years.
Great.
She will be missed, for
A
sure.
lot of people like that, 35 years. All righty, any other comments or questions?
No, sir.
From anyone? Sure, great. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chair, I move to adjourn the Board of County Commissioners meeting of August 1, 2017.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn the Board of County Commissioners meeting for August 1st, 2017. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned. Good afternoon. This is the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners. I'm Commissioner Bud Blake, the chair of the board this year. I'd like to start off by doing introductions. This is Commissioner Gary Edwards. This is Commissioner John Hutchins, and to his right is Labanita Bomar, the clerk of the board. Stop it. And her right is Romero Chavez, the county manager, and to his right is Amy Horowitz. Horowitz, yep, deputy prosecuting attorney. Today, we're here to conduct a public hearing to consider amending the Thurston County Code Section 2.02.050 and establishing costs for providing public records. The purpose is for Thurston County seeking public input on proposed amendments to the Thurston County Code related to fees for public records. So to get things started, there's a sign-in sheet at the back of the room. All those interested haven't signed in, go ahead and sign in now. You'll be given 3 minutes, and our clock is here on the my left, your right, in terms of how we do the process. We've gotten rid of the stoplight countdown. As your name is called out, I ask you to come forward to the podium. You give an oral testimony and hear your name and kind of tell me where you're at from the county. And your time may not be given to another person. So with that in mind, I'll open up the public hearing. And I'll ask County Manager Ramiro Chavez to give us a little background, and then we'll go forward with the oral testimony.
Thank you, Commissioners. RCW 42.56.070, parentheses 7, as amended by Chapter 304, Laws of 2017 and House Bill 1595, effective July 23, 2017, provides that an agency may offer notice of public hearings, establishing, maintains, and makes available for public inspection and copying a statement of the actual cost that is charged for providing public records, and provides that an agency need not calculate nor the actual cost it charges for providing public records. And if that rules of or regulations declaring the reasons doing so will be unduly burdensome. As a consequence, the county is composed of numerous offices and departments which maintain separate databases, data storage systems, and record-keeping systems. And county operations are complex, diverse, and changeful, such that a determination of actual cost, county-wide cost, for providing public records will be unduly burdensome. As a result, the resolution before you proposes to adopt the charges the public records set forth in RCW 42.56.120, parentheses 2, as may be amended, are adopted as the fees and costs charged for providing public records requested under the Public Records Act, Chapter 42.56 of the Revised Code of Washington. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Any questions, Ramiro?
I guess, I don't know if it's as much of a question as a statement, though. This is no windfall for the county. One of the figures I remember is 10 cents per gigabyte or...
Yeah, that is one of the line items. If you pass this resolution, will give the opportunity to the county to collect 10 cents for a gigabyte of distribution.
And that's quite a bit of information. So I think it is just another reason that we need to do whatever we can do to get all of our information available to the public so it's readily accessible at all times so that they don't even need to ask for this information. I don't believe there's anything that we do that is any type of a secret operation, and we should just make every effort to make all of our information available to the public at all times, and hopefully it'll diminish our headache here as time moves on.
No headache. How about you, sir?
Commissioner Edwards mentioned it's not a windfall for the county, but for all the people in the audience here and all those watching at home, I want to reiterate, is this really going to generate any additional income for the county at all that we're aware of?
It is unlikely, and but at least we'll provide the structure as to how the county can collect some fees. In the implementation of the collection fees may be yet another steps that we need to take, and that even may take more effort to have that structure in place than actually the benefit of collecting the 10 cents. But at least we need to respond to the changes of state law, and this is an attempt to do so for your consideration. Also, not necessarily associated with the decision that you have before you, new law related to public records also requires that every single jurisdiction needs to provide an annual report as to how many public records and specific information on a yearly basis. And that also creates yet another administrative requirement that we need to meet as we move forward in complying with the public records law. More to come on the reporting requirements. I know the Washington State Association of Counties is trying to minimize the impact to local jurisdictions in terms of the reporting requirements. So at this point, that's what we have, and hopefully in the months to come, we'll reduce what we need to do.
So it's not a scheme by the county to extract more money from the citizens, it's a mandate from the state. I'm sorry. It's not a scheme by the county to extract more money from the citizens. It is a mandate from the state, this entire thing. As well as, I guess my final question is, what would be the effective date of this? if it is passed?
Yeah, the law became in effect July 23rd, 2017. And I believe as soon as you approve this resolution, the ordinance before you, that will become the effective date of these changes.
All right, thank you, sir.
Anything else?
No, I'm good.
Nope,
Thank you.
I'd just like to reiterate what the two commissioners kind of touched on, that this commission has always been transparent, will always be transparent, accountable, and approachable as far as public information. All right, with that in mind, I'll ask the audience, I don't see anybody in the audience, but just in case, is there anybody in the audience that'd like to come forward to testify for the, on 3 minutes on behalf of their thoughts? Seeing no one, ask if there's a motion to close the public hearing.
I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
It's been moved and stated to close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and so we've closed the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board to move forward with the, okay, is there a motion to approve for amending the code?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve amending Thurston County Code, Section 2.02.050, and establish costs for providing copies of public records.
Second.
It's been moved and second, as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and so that motion carries also. All right, with that in mind, is there a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chair, I move to adjourn this public hearing.
Second.
It's been moved and second to adjourn. We are adjourned.